그 3개국 세 나라 세 나라하고
You must establish industrial complexes in those three countries and Mexico, but you must not go in too deep. There are several core locations where you must build them.
공단을 몇 군데 설치를 해가지고
By establishing these complexes in key areas, you can block the flow of refugees into America.
막는 것이 아니고
This will stop the migration without using force.
이 사람들이 생산을 할 수
These structures will create workplaces where they can produce something.
몇 군데가
A few locations will stand out.
설치를 해가지고 이 사람들이 자합을 얻으러
You have to build industrial complexes to prevent the fundamental need for people to go to America looking for a job.
공단 설립을 해야 돼. 그러면 이 공단 설립을 해갖고 이 사람들은
These people who have been farming can't start work in these industrial parks right away.
바로 일 못해요. 훈련도 시켜야 되고 교육도
You
시켜야
have to
되고
train and educate them to work.
이제 뭔가 일을 할 수 있도록
Also,
교육을 시켜야
they
되는데
should receive a
이쪽으로
salary
조금
during this
줄일 수 있어요.
education process.
비용이 조금 들겠지만 그래도
It will cost more, but they should be paid.
교육시키면서 70% 봉급이 나가면
During the training period, they will receive 70% of their future salary, and this will be enough to relieve all their hardships.
난민이 돼가지고
They cannot obtain this kind of work by leaving their home and becoming a refugee in a foreign land.
이걸 전부 다
They would have no reason to leave if they had a way to make a living where they are.
글로 갈 일이 없어집니다. 올라갔던 난민도
Instead, all the refugees who had gone to the US would want to come back down to get trained and work.
그렇게 되면 어떻게 되냐?
What will happen then?
교육도 시키고 뭐 다 해야 된다.
From then on, you have to educate these people in all things. When everything's set up, production will commence. Then, these industrial complexes will become a manufacturing hub for export goods solely to the United States. Currently, the US has to import many low-priced goods from China.
근데 여기서 생산해서 바로 올라가 버리면
Export can happen smoothly if these products are produced in Central America and transported directly to the United States.
미국에서 이런 걸 한국에서
The United States will trust the quality of these products, and they will accept all imports because they will be made under the supervision of Korea.
아주
This process benefits all parties.
여기서 벌어지는 거죠. 그 벌어지면 여기 많은 지금
Then what will you do about political turmoil and many destabilizing factors in Central America?
전부 다
If we approach them with a grand plan, we can discuss and negotiate with them.
그렇죠. 이거는
It will undoubtedly be successful because the goal is to help them.
성공을 하면은 이거
It will cost quite a bit to do this.
여기에 이 작업을 할 때 재원이 들어가는 건 투자입니다.
But this is an investment.
투자를 해서
If the US invests and this region stabilizes, it will benefit the United States enormously. This project will train and educate people. Only qualified individuals should enter the United States. The industrial complex will manage all these things to benefit the US significantly and stabilize the refugee crisis. How much will it cost to do so? In my blueprint, the project requires about $169 billion. For Korea, $169 billion is a lot of money, but it is not a huge amount for America. So how will you raise $169 billion? If the USA likes the plan because it is accurate and feasible, they will invest in it. After Korean companies design the plan and the Korean government agrees with it, they visit the US to present it. Then the US will loan Korea the money because the Korean government and the Korean companies will work together to help the United States.
그러면 이게 돈을 빌리 갖고 하는데 우리가
Korea
지금
has to
그 돈을
borrow
투자할
because
수는
it doesn't have the money to invest right now. But it can be done by borrowing.
그래서 요걸 투자를 하는데
So how do you raise money to invest in this project?
미국에서 빌리되
You should borrow with no interest for 30 years from the US and repay it within 20 years.
200조를 빌려서 이 공사를 해야 돼. 이 프로젝트가 이제
Then the project can begin.
이 프로젝트를 하면은
What happens when you do this?
돈을 딱 빌리 가지고
The refugee crisis will disappear in the same year the venture begins after funding.
저 난민은 없어집니다. 그 해 바로 왜 올라가는 게 아니고 전부
Why?
일반 사람들 전부
Instead of moving up north, all the people who want to work remain and receive pay while they are trained and educated. This means that they have already found a job. Since we are educating those who will work in the industrial complexes in the future, they don't need to leave their home as refugees.
여기 대한민국이
대한민국 or Korea can plan this, teach people, and lead them. We have all the skills people need for those jobs. We can build and operate such an industrial complex and educate the workers for the future. We have the ability to do all these things. God's blessing is that all these abilities in the world were sent to Korea after the Korean War. So we have all of them. We can build new cities. The design should include building new cities to work side by side with the industrial complexes. What will happen when we succeed? It will generate tremendous income. We can help the US by making use of all the techniques of management. What happens when we are successful in helping the United States? People will see success when the task is only 30% complete. You can anticipate its success when it is implemented just 30%. At this time, the word of project success by the 대한민국 or Korean team will spread across the globe. There are a lot of jobs to be done right now in Europe. Why? Because the refugees are flocking there too. It is very challenging to solve this problem. The United Kingdom is especially concerned about the refugee crisis. Up until now, advanced countries have worked hard to grow by taking advantage of developing countries. However, they will have a headache in the future because people in developing nations will flock to advanced countries. 대한민국 or Korea is a country that has the ability to handle all of these things. So all these projects will come to us. What do we call this? We call it the Greatest Love Project. Korea will lead the developing nations correctly and solve the advanced countries' problems. Korea has the ability to deal with each level of the industry, including the high-tech sector, mid-level sector, and low-tech industry. Korea's stepping stone to the world will start from this project. We now have the opportunity to repay the debt of gratitude for the help of the United States and the world during the Korean War. We can do this. With our ability, Korea is now taking the first step into the world. We will have achieved a project developing business by making this a success while benefiting the world. This is different from running a corporation. A corporation grew and developed. Project developing business is doing what is necessary for humanity. When we do what the international community needs because it is necessary, it becomes a project business. We do this type of international business because it benefits the international community. So we will do world-class project businesses. We become a project designing enterprise while doing something that is needed internationally. 대한민국 or Korea will become a country that the world needs. This project, which is taking its first step into the world, seems like a small request from the United States, but the era of tremendous change begins here.
여기서부터 시작한다 이 말이죠. 그러니까 이 사업은 해야 됩니다. 해야 되고
So we must do this project. This will be the first show of gratitude to the United States. This will not be the only thing we do for the United States. We will do many more things to show our gratitude. 대한민국 or Korea will succeed in everything it does, thereby making a name for itself worldwide. That is why we have to do this. We can do it. If we plan this with wisdom, we will receive applause and praise. So we must do this work. When we design these projects well, unemployed young people of Korea can study through on-site training while helping the international community.
이런 우리가 공부가 됩니다. 교육이 국제사회
While doing this in the international community, the young people will also learn while working. This will become perfect hands-on learning on how we approach the international community in the future. We can help globally in many ways and open up the path for our expansion. The unemployment problem will start to disappear from this point onward. Are you looking for a job in Korea? There are none. There are no jobs here because what you want to do is not here. Doing what you don't want to do? That's the wrong way. Doing something to help the international community? Everyone likes to do such a thing. Everyone is waiting for this kind of work. But no one taught you about this, so you are at a standstill. We are about to embark on what we all want to do. A great opportunity has come to start on these things, so we shouldn't miss out on this.